Well, folks, in today's video, we're gonna see if we can get this old Tyco Spirit of 76 running again. This locomotive was sent in from a gentleman named Charles Cummings, and I feel like the timing of fixing this locomotive is quite fitting, because we of course have the 4th of July coming up very soon, so yeah, I thought we'd try to get this old locomotive going. I don't know exactly what's wrong with it. I think the motor might be seized. I'm pretty sure that's at least what I had concluded last time we tried to test this thing, but yeah, we'll go test this thing again just to see what's going on and then go from there. So let's get this little number all set up on the track here, and then we'll see if we can get it to do something. Let's give it some power. We do have some current draw, although I'm not sure if that's a motor or the light, which apparently works. Changing the direction doesn't seem to do anything. So I think we've either got a connection problem with the motor or potentially something seized. I didn't hear anything from the motor, but let's have a look. Alright, let's start taking this thing apart. As always, with these old Tycos, you kind of just get a bit of a tool under there, and this whole piece pops out. Let's see if we can get that off there. I think this is... I can't remember, I think this is an older Tyco, I could be mistaken though. But in any case, if we try to turn this... Okay, first of all, that's not good, that's popping out. It's missing a screw right there. And I cannot get that to turn, so yeah, there's clearly some not great stuff going on with this loco. So let's see if we can correct all that. Let's get these wheels out of here. Yeah, that doesn't seem too bad. I still cannot turn that though, wow. Is our motor seized? Just get this up. Could be that gear is stuck. So we got that off. Nope, that gear seems to be fine. I guess it's the motor block itself which is seized. So this should be interesting. I really don't know what we're gonna find behind here, but yeah, I don't recall seized motors being like, usually it's the gearbox which is seizing the whole thing. It's, yeah, so for the problem to be specifically with the motor, that's quite unusual. But we might find out soon enough why it's like that. Ooh, yeah, that's really stuck on there. This motor might have burned out, who knows. I hate to see what's under this though, the fact that it really does not want to lift up. It's actually not that bad. So before we lose them, let me just find those two springs. I'm gonna put those up here. The motor itself, that doesn't look too bad, although, well, it took the bearing with it. That bearing is stuck to the motor, what the heck? That is strange, I've never seen that before. So that could be part of our problem. Even now, can we turn the motor? Barely. Gee, I have no idea what's going on with this thing. Maybe it just needs to be cleaned. It's just got really dry lubricants, but that is so weird. There we go. There's our motor. Oh, that's different. Usually the poles on these are all the same color, but in this case they've been colored a bit differently for each pole. Interesting. The motor looks to be in pretty decent shape though. It needs to be cleaned a little bit, but yeah, it's not as bad. So I'm just gonna go give this thing a good cleaning there, and then hopefully that will fix whatever's causing this thing not to run. Alright, so I've gone ahead and I cleaned this whole thing up. I got the back bearing working, and I tried to get the front one working as well, but I really couldn't. I don't know what is going on with that thing, but anything I tried didn't work, and then I wound up dropping it, and I can't find it. So I wouldn't usually do something like this, but I think in this case we're just going to take off without the bearing, and I'll tell you why. We've got a bearing on this side. This is obviously very important, but you see on this side, we've actually got this plastic end which still has its own bearing. So that will hold this, the weight of the armature, in place. But of course, the pressure of the brushes will prevent it from coming too far this way. So I think, in theory, this shouldn't be problematic. Frankly, there's not going to be too much friction. I know this is plastic, and, you know, it's obviously not going to wear as well as metal, but frankly, there's not going to be much friction, especially because we're going to lubricate it anyway. So I'm not too concerned about doing this move. Anyway, let's begin reassembling this thing. We will, we'll start off by actually putting a little bit of oil on this side right here. So that's that. Now, I don't know actually how to take off these covers, so we're going to have to use an interesting strategy, which I've shown on this channel before. But in any case, it should work just fine. So, anyway, we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to begin by putting the springs in. Hopefully not lose them. That's something that's happened a couple times on here before. So we put both of those in, and then you get a brush and you put one right over each of the holes like so. And then you see I've gone ahead and I made this handy little tool right here. And we're just gonna position that so it holds those down, and then, you know, we get the armature right through the middle of that, and then hopefully what happens is you get it like this, and you pull that up, and hopefully all is well on the inside there. So let me find a screw here, and then hopefully we can put this all together and it will work okay. Yeah. That's what we're going for, at least. I mean, I'll probably wind up testing this before we put it all back together. Alright, so we're now going to test this motor. Hopefully putting in those brushes went well enough that it will all work. Ah, yeah, look at that! Serenity! It runs. Fair enough, and I guess even removing that bearing, even if we tilt it, it seems to be fine. So that went well. Now we just need to reassemble the rest of the unit, and we will be in business. Alright, I think our locomotive is ready to go. Let's go test this thing. Alright, let's get our locomotive all running here. Hopefully it will start up. Now, let's give this thing some power. Oh. Get a little more power there. Come on. Let's give it... It's trying to go. It's just... those wheels could use some cleaning. Alright, got those wheels looking all shiny now. Let's see if that made any difference. Oh yeah, look at that! America! Needs to run. I think it needs to break in a little bit. It's getting there. Alright, so it's now a little bit of time later, and it's running pretty well as far as old tycos go. I'm quite happy with it. I really couldn't figure out why it was stuttering so much. The wheels seemed pretty cleaned after I'd give them a good cleaning. But what I realized is this locomotive is really light. It barely has any weight, so I just threw some weights in it. And that seems to have really improved it. I've also let it break in a little bit, but it's only been running for about a minute now, and yeah, it's doing just fine for itself. So, yeah, anyways, I'm pretty happy. So with that, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching.